Today's lesson is on demand. What is demand, the law of demand, and easily confused demand terms, so lots of good stuff. I guess we should start with what is demand. Demand is the desire to have a good or service and the ability to pay for it. And that's probably the more important part of the definition because everybody can have a demand for this brand new Ferrari, but not everybody can afford it. The law of demand is really very simple, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but if you didn't get it, here it is again. As price goes down, demand goes up. As things get cheaper, more people want to buy them. And I'll show you right now why this is true. Let's say Chucky here decides to open an ice cream shop in town, and he starts by selling his cones at $8 a piece. And at $8 a piece, the demand for those cones, quantity demanded that is 2,000. This graph's in thousands. 2,000. So, the total revenue for that point would be 16,000, and he decides that's decent, but he wants to make more money. And in order to make more money, he needs to sell to more people. So he asks, how can I sell to more people? Just follow the law of demand and lower your prices, Chucky. So he lowers his price to $5, and what do you know? The demand jumped up to 5,000. So he's making more money, and he's selling to more people by lowering his prices. Finally, here are your three easily confused demand terms: change in quantity demanded, change in demand, and elasticity of demand. And let's find the differences of these terms. Let's start with change in quantity demanded. Change in quantity demanded is just movements along a demand curve, and it's really very simple. Let's say I'm reading this graph and I start off at this point and I end at this point. I'm measuring the difference of these 2 points. The change in quantity demanded of these 2 points is 6, just movements along the demand curve. Now let's talk about actual change in demand. This means the curve shifts, the entire curve shifts. So let's say in the summer, Billy Bob's or Chuck's ice cream is represented by this demand line, but in the winter months, it actually shifts and the demand gets less because it's colder and no one wants ice cream in the cold except for me. The whole entire demand curve shifts. This isn't just measuring changes of a couple points. The entire demand curve shifts because the demand gets less in the winter months for ice cream. Just remember, left, less demand, right, more. Elasticity of demand, I hope I don't have to go over this point too much because I already have an elasticity of demand lesson. So I'll just give you a brief little introduction if you don't know what it is. It's a measure of how responsive consumers are to price changes. And, for example, gasoline is inelastic, i.e. that's supposed to be, and phones are a pretty elastic product. If you're confused, you should check out the elasticity lesson. If you have a demand for more lessons, I will supply them to you because my next lesson will be on supply. Thanks for listening.